Now, effective supply chain management fuels economic growth by optimizing production processes and facilitating trade. It also enables businesses to reach wider markets, expand their operations, and create employment opportunities. The gap between industry and academia continues to hinder the full potential of industry. So today on AM Business, we'll continue the conversation on the logistics and supply sector. My colleague Isaac Atasenyako assesses the impact of emerging technologies and the creation of an effective chain to support intra-African trade. Here is AM Business for you.
Prof's point about, value addition to some of the goods that we have here or we grow here for that matter is a very important one, and it brings to fore a bit about after. Yeah. Now, what do we do to ensure that we have an effective chain to be able to make sure that the trade or the African trade we dream of indeed comes to fruition?
Yeah, I think the after seems to be a nice solution to the problem of free movement of goods and services across the continent. But then, after is going to face a challenge. There are two of them. One of them speaks back to what they were just saying, infrastructure. Try to move goods and services. Don't even think about capital from Ghana to Togo. You know what I mean? So the point is, are we going to use the road infrastructure? Are we going to use flights? Are we going to use the sea? If you try to use any of those things, I can tell you moving goods from London to United States is cheaper because of the infrastructure limitations. But then, related to that is the challenge of lack of regulatory synchronization. To what extent are regulations across the African market such that they are seamless and interconnected? And I was telling somebody this morning that one regulatory issue that I have a strong feeling will be a stumbling block for after success is currency. People think maybe it's language. No, I don't think so. The currency. To what extent are we ready as African governments and policymakers to let go our currencies, to adopt a common currency that the European Union have done to facilitate free movement of goods and services? To me, these are some of the challenges that I think Kariska can actually help in researching to come with possible alternatives way of implementing the after concept. Right. To me, it's a concept.
Right. Prof, you have something to add to that?
Well, that's absolutely right. So if you look at Europe after 1992, with the beginning of the European Union and so on, you saw this incredible climb, and the euro used to be worth a lot more than the dollar because that dynamism that came out of a common currency, dropping the borders to some extent. I don't know what the British are doing with Brexit, honestly, but the united European market was a huge benefit to the people that live in Europe because all of a sudden you could get goods and services at a lower cost, easier, and pretty much everybody profited. Same thing could happen across this continent as well.
You did make mention of research and how we can dig in to find, correct backing for some of the decisions we take, businesses. How are we making sure that academia and industry are able to have that seamless connection?
That's a big question. This is a hugely important issue that we need to deal with at policy level, at institutional level, and at business level. It is the case and the fact that industry does not trust academia in Africa. I always say I will take away South Africa, but for the rest of sub-Saharan Africa, there's that huge gap between what industry does and think and what we do as academia. And I think we need to stop that. We need to bridge that gap. And one of the things we could do is what, again, I think we have been doing at Karaska for the past 4 years. If you look at our pillars, things that guide us, there are 3. And it starts from industry engagement. Everything we do starts from industry engagement. We come down to the level of the industry. We listen to them. We bring them to our workshops, our network meetings. We learn about their problems.
They often say a lot of what you do is it's too theoretical.
Too theoretical, I got that.
They need a practical bit of it.
Yes.
So what are we doing to ensure that we're able to translate their theory into practice?
You know, I think in the U.S. the tradition is probably a little different. And actually, as part of Kariska, we've done 2 funded projects that these same guys, Nat, Abdul, and Emmanuel, worked on. We did a reverse logistics project in Africa that was funded by Dell, the computer company, because they are looking for expertise about one issue or another. And the place to find the best knowledge a lot of time is in academia. Now, I'm an academic for 35 years, so I'm a little prejudiced about this, but we got one going right now that Emmanuel's working on called SCARF, Supply Chain AI Realized Future, that's funded by Intel, Applied Materials, who makes machines to make semiconductors, and a company called Chemonics, to look at how you can improve distribution in Africa, in Ghana specifically, using artificial intelligence. So companies are not going to be able, are not likely to be able to figure out new things like, say, AI themselves. And they really need the university. And God knows the university needs funded projects from industry. I mean, we live off of that. So there's a lot of great stuff happening in universities all over the world, including right here in Ghana. There really is leading thinkers here.
Okay.
So I think they need to trust us.
Right.
That we can help them get things done.
The whole technological revolution, how is this shaping the future of the chain? Begin with you, Professor Dill.
So AI is reshaping every part of supply chain management. So AI is basically old statistical methods with greater power, sort of made new, and also includes learning. And so there's a whole lot of things that are happening where you can automate processes that you couldn't before. The other thing that's happening is that every software you're using, there was a big announcement in San Francisco yesterday with Apple. They're going to integrate OpenAI, who makes ChatGPT, generative AI. They're going to integrate it into all their devices, and so it's a huge growth area. And there's folks in Ghana on the ground figuring out how to build AI into devices and software, and it's going to be a revolution. I don't know how long it'll last, but it's probably into my life, maybe. It's going to be a big deal.
Sure.
And from the perspective of Ghana and Africa, I think we need to begin to prepare, because AI has a huge opportunity, but it also comes with challenges. And there is this fear that it may take away jobs. And so if you're living in an economy where most people rely on mass production for daily living, if you introduce technology like AI, what's the implication? But the other side of it is, to what extent is our economy prepared, human resource wise, for AI? Are we training enough people to be able to power this economy from AI perspective? I think these are some of the questions that we need to be thinking about, and I bet you our academia can help.
I know we will definitely follow academia for questions such as these. But lastly, in the next 5 to 10 years, beyond AI and the whole tech revolution, what would you like to see, especially here in Ghana, with regards to policy, so we can boost or ensure the growth of the sector?
Oh, I think policy-wise, the key political parties are doing well. I think they've all opened up to the notion of digitalization of the economy. And I think in the last, I would say the last 16 years, from 2008 all the way to present, we have moved really well towards digitalizing our economy, making it such that many of the activities that we used to queue for, we can now just, with a click of a button, with your phone, many of these things can be done. And I think it's a starting point, and we should keep up the energy with that.
Okay.
The only thing I worried about is the extent to which we are preparing the young people in this economy to be prepared for high-power technology like AI. I think policy should now begin to shift towards human resource capacity development. Yeah.
Great. Prof, same question for you. In the next 5 to 10 years, what should we do, especially when you compare the two markets, US, Ghana, maybe Africa, for instance? What should we do to be able to catch up?
You know, there's a unique opportunity right now. If you think about the sort of old economic advantages, they tended to be around labor, or they tended to be around physical resources. And now, with digitalization of the economy, all of a sudden, it's intellectual capital, and you got a lot of that here. And so it's a unique opportunity because you can catch up, but you've got to invest in the universities. You've got to well fund them. You've got to increase the technical expertise, and so there's a unique opportunity to be an important global player that really used to not be possible because of how you succeeded in the old economy, and today it's different. And so I'm quite bullish on Ghana and the rest of Africa. I think there's a real opportunity to make great progress, but you got to move quickly, and there has to be investment in universities, and you have to have policies that will open it up for companies versus trying to, tax a lot and really close down on companies. It's an important thing. This is a time to let 1,000 flowers bloom.
So there you have it. Invest in academia for quality of research, and also build or formulate the right policies which will be able to take into account the current revolution happening in the space to ensure we have a booming, supply chain sector